Okay, so today's lesson is on sit-ups. How complicated can it be, right? So this is a good example of how what I'm asking you to do is to re-examine and really look at all of these movements and what's going on inside of you in greater and greater detail, rather than just assuming that you know how to do a sit-up. Oh, I can sit up. It's no problem, right? So let's proceed with this slightly different approach. Again, maybe you've warmed up a little bit already, but start from just a comfortable position on the ground. And without using your arms and or legs, see if you can just sit up and then lay back down again. You may find, if you're on the hard floor, that it's not comfortable to go straight up, or it may not be. Actually, that wasn't too bad. But you may prefer to go to kind of one side or the other. That's okay. Just make sure you're kind of working on both sides. Very similar to when we were doing rolls last week. So, make sure you're breathing the whole time. Start the breath first. Then sit up. The exhale or the inhale. If you need to use your arms a little bit, that's fine. Okay. Once you're able to do that, just start sitting up from different positions. So I may start from on the side. And I may go different angles. Few things you might notice. If you find yourself sitting up and the legs come up, the part of the issue is too much tension in the legs and hips. So the legs need to relax. They serve as a kind of dead weight that when you sit up, then there's no problem. So if the tension from the sit-up begins to bleed too much down into the legs, see, tension comes, legs come up, and then I can't sit up. So the legs need to be relaxed. Okay? Okay, so the next variation is start to experiment with using the arms and the legs as counterbalances. So last week when we talked about rolling, we did a lot of experimental work, just seeing how moving the legs into different positions created movement, right? So same idea here. I want to see how I can use my leg to sit myself up, how I can use my arms to help bring myself from laying down to up. So again, continue from different positions, but you can see how you can use a leg movement to help sit yourself up. Combination, leg and arm. And this takes some of the load off the abdominals. So if you have, for some reason, maybe you're injured or something, can't use your abdominals as much, this is a way of sitting up with less pressure in the abdomen. So just experiment. Many, many variations. One additional topic I would like to cover with sit-ups is two different positions sitting up. Of course, you can sit on the bottom, either cross-legged, legs out, however you like, but you can also sit up onto the knees as a kind of secondary position. So you can transition into this position either by sitting up as you would onto your bottom, then from there transitioning to the knees, and from there you can transition back to sitting and back down. Or you can, from laying down, by bringing the knees in, you can transition right into sitting on the knees, and the same for going down. You can go right back down. So if you want to add the knees into your practice, that's great. And just another position, and will help with further movement as we move into transitions and so on. And the last thing I want you to work on with the sit-ups is, again, the idea of continuous motion. So normally, or I should say usually, when people are doing sit-ups, they go from one position, two, one position, two, one, two, and there's this kind of machine-like idea that's associated with the movement. So, and at each position there's a stop, and then I directly reverse. Stop, back, stop, back. So another way to think about the sit-up is continuing the movement in some way. So if I sit up, let's say I sit up slightly off angle, I don't just stop and go back the same way. Instead, it's all a continuation. So when I come up, there's many, many different ways to come up. So many different ways. And when I go down, again, there's many, many different ways to go down. So many angles, so many different possibilities that will allow you to keep the movement fluid, uninterrupted, and continuous. And with that, you'll find it's much more relaxing, much more calming, not so much jarring to the psyche. Okay, I hope you have fun with sit-ups. Next Next lesson, we will finally stand up. We'll be doing transitions and we'll go from there. I hope to see you at the next lesson.